Hello and welcome to episode 8 of interviewing our subject leaders and other sixth form staff. Today on the show we have Miss McLean to talk about A-level law. Without further ado, please enjoy the episode. Why choose A-level law?
I think A-level law provides an opportunity for you to do something that you've never done before, because obviously we don't offer it in year 11 in most establishments. You get to draw upon everyday experience. You can watch programs, shows, movies, read newspapers, and law is all around you, and you get a chance to fully understand how it works and also perhaps give you an insight into a future in that path as well.
What is your favourite part of the course?
I think that my favourite part of the course is probably criminal law, mostly because I think that the case detail that the different cases can provide are very exciting and interesting and help students to understand and to remember case law. When I talked about this a few years ago with some year 11s, I used a case that's quite a local case. It's called RVG, and it involves a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old boy who, by accident, caused huge damage to a co-op in Newport Pagnell. And in fact, Newport Pagnell is where I first started teaching, so it's very close to home and it's just outside Milton Keynes. Now, this little 11-year-old boy basically set a fire to some newspapers around the back of the co-op, didn't think much about it, kicked it under a bin, went home. Unfortunately for them, the bin was plastic, it caught fire. The drain pipe was plastic, it caught fire, and the whole of the roof collapsed, and it caused £1 million worth of damage. The case centred on whether they had foreseen the risk of that fire occurring, and in the end the case went all the way up to the House of Lords, which is the highest criminal court. It's now called the Supreme Court, it's been renamed. And they were found not guilty because they didn't foresee the risk, because they were only 10 and 11 at the time. And I also know, on Inside Scoop, that they got a bottle of champagne out of the House of Lords larder, which is a bit controversial, but it's because by the time they got to court they were quite a bit older, and the House of Lords were really grateful for the chance to rectify some really bad law that had occurred.
What is it that got you into teaching?
I think my route into teaching might be a little bit unconventional. So I did my degree in Cardiff and studied law and absolutely loved it. I wanted to be a barrister, but I realised quite early on that I didn't have quite the tenacious character that you need. I do love a chat, but I need to be a bit more argumentative, a little bit more determined to win every fight. And so I just got a job straight out of uni, just working in Sainsbury's, then got another job working in a call centre. Didn't really know what I wanted to do, I just needed to earn some money. And then a job came up working for Trade and Standards, and it seemed to combine some of the skills I already had working in a call centre and the degree that I'd obviously loved. Worked with them for about a year and realised the thing I loved most was helping people to learn the law. And from then I realised that this was the career for me, to teach people the law, because that's the bit I love most, when students finally get it and go, so that means this is the law. And I say, yeah, that's exactly it. And I feel really pleased with them and with myself for helping them to understand it.
What are the A-level results like on this course?
We have fantastic A-level results, and in fact in the first year that we took the new specification, which was 2019, our results put us in the top 10% of the country.
What career routes does this subject open?
I think one of the best things about law is that there's an opportunity for you to sync up with lots of other subjects, similar A-levels, that can give you different routes. So if you're interested in something like psychology, you can look at criminology, which combines the reasons behind crime as well as the types of crime that occur. You can work for the police, you can work for the Crown Prosecution Service, you could work for the forensics team, you could go in and be an advisor in government, you could go into politics. It really has a huge range of things available to you. And from the three of us, that my two closest friends and I that did our degree together, I teach law. My friend is a solicitor and she therefore helps people with their legal problems, and my other friend is a policewoman. So we went down 3 different avenues from the same degree.
Why have you chosen to teach this subject?
I think that there is, for me, nothing else that I'd rather do or be than a teacher of law. I love the subject area. I get very passionate and about sharing my knowledge with students and about seeing them work through the complexities of law and come to a resolution. I particularly enjoy the ability for students to take apart scenarios involving criminal behaviour or civil torts, and being able to show how they understand where the law has unravelled and perhaps where somebody's liability lies.
What advice would you give to a prospective student, and how can they prepare for this course?
Students of law need to be articulate, they need to be confident in their writing, and they need to be aware that it is 3 2-hour exams. So you have to be someone who's prepared to sit down and write at length. There are 230 markers on each paper, so it's a significant amount of writing. So I would say work really hard on your English or history, or even business studies A-level GCSEs, because those will give you good foundations for going on to do law A-level. If you want to do some reading around the subject, the best thing to do is to subscribe. You can look at the Times newspaper, for example. They have a particular section where you can read up on changes in the law, and basically just keeping your eyes and ears open and watch the news, read the newspapers, so that you are ready for questions about the law when you come to my class.
What type of student should choose this course?
I think the kind of students that I normally draw are those who are interested in a debate. I think the law provides a lot of opportunity for discussion, and I think that there are always topics that will come up that will make students really question where their moral beliefs come from in comparison to their legal understanding. We have lots of opportunities for debate, for example, on things like abortion and euthanasia, and no matter the fact that there is laws in place to prevent someone being liable for an abortion and to make sure people are liable for euthanasia, that isn't necessarily the true reflection of society. So I guess when you come to my class, you come prepared for a discussion and for you to be able to put forward your ideas in an articulate fashion.
What are the expectations of students doing this course?
As all my students who have been before would have said, my expectations are very high. I want the very best for you. I want you to achieve the most that you can from my course and from the subject in terms of results. And this means that you have to put in as much work as I'm putting in. And if you speak to Mr. Hegarty, he would say I put in too much work sometimes in comparison to the students. But I know for a fact that you have to want to do well in order to do well. And the starting point is putting in the graft. So for every hour you're with me, you need to be doing at least an hour at home.
And finally, what has been the highlight of your career?
Oh, what a question. So I think perhaps for me, the best set of results that I've had have been those ones in 2019. And it was a real joy and a privilege to see from that cohort of students that 2/3 of them then went on to study law in some fashion. So it was being able to say not only had I been able to help them to achieve a fantastic set of results, but also that I had inspired or ignited a passion in them to pursue this in terms of a career.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.